Okay, so I'll show you visual updates, then I will elaborate on it, but on the balcony. Okay, so we will speak a little bit here in the balcony, even though it's really not a place for me to be. It's the worst place. I mean, by far the worst room in the house, and it was here that I was framed for ridiculous crime, and all the texts are here. And as I speak, I see that we have a new one. Did you see it? It's a new thing. The rope that is hanging from above. I know this sign. It's a new it's a thing, and and I actually know it because I'm acquainted with it from Shoam. In Shoam, several times, different members from above gave me this very subtle and sign. It's kind of like a psychological message, which is both a threat, but moreover, it works on your subconscious. It operates in a subconscious way, so you will, develop your inner, presumably your inner latent fascination with death, maybe your inner Thanatos, to speak mythologically. So this rope, could, develop the inner, mythological self, and it should, make you, I don't know, act in a way that is beneficial for presumably the Shabak. And 99% of what they do is those magic tricks, like Chico Vedico, ridiculous. I'm a stripper magician, but not respectable ones, like I don't know, Penn and Teller, or the one that was, I don't know, boyfriend of this blonde. He was famous when I was a child, and now Claude Schiffer, or he was he made things disappear. Anyway, that's what they do. It's amazing. 99% is just magic tricks. Now I will hypnotize you. Ta-da! Anyway, I don't want to wake my mother, and I want to speak a little bit about several things that are not super important, but they have importance, and they're related to things that I spoke about yesterday and today, and I don't want to forget it. And so I will do a short, review of several stuff like that, that are on my table. So right now, as you see, I'm in the middle of many things that I do in parallel, and I think that, it's a very interesting intersection of my research between physical research and sociological research and mythological development, like my own personal mythology and the mythology of the race that I belong to, which is something that I always do since I started this journey. And it's very interesting because they are related, they are always related, but they are currently related to specific research questions. And it's very, more than ever, I find myself today, yesterday, dealing with like very, extremely interdisciplinary, I hate this word, also world, but also word. So, shit, I use that interdisciplinary. Anyway, different kind of like modes of thought together. So, the issue, and first issue, and I hope I do not sound, boring to you. There are two issues, both of which are very technical, that I want to discuss, and both, I've already discussed them today and yesterday, but I want to add another layer. And the first issue is the issue of what exactly is the duration of the executive force of a symbolic artwork, like and of a painting or sculpture or combination of them. When are they in effect? And I've already spoken about it, and I've spoken about it in the past, but I want to elaborate on it some more. Like, when exactly is the plague supposed to happen? And I mean, I mean, there is the issue. I mean, part of the symbolic language contains, I mean, specific references to duration, or and to repeatability, like I mean, to frequency and to duration, to physical terms that can be represented in pretty much universal visual symbols. But that's not exactly the issue. The issue is not, I mean, the duration or the frequency, but I mean, when is it in effect? I mean, and especially with regards to you, the artist that created it. And the second issue, I mean, that I've also spoken about is that lately is the issue of the background and the color codes. So, regarding the first question, I mean, I gave you an answer. I mean, I had many answers, I mean, along the year and a half that I deal with the question. And I gave you the latest answer that with regard to the spaceship, and I understood that it's possibly, I mean, be okay for in regards to the Neros, which is, it's in effect while I sit at my table and work, like in my work table, as humble as it is, and the paintings are, I mean, hanged in front of me, and if it's sculpture, they are on my table or the table, I mean, that, I mean, just to the side, I mean, which is like I mean, continuation of my work. You don't need to be too much, I mean, rabbinical about it, because I mean, but you need to be rabbinical because I mean, it's this question carries a lot of weight. It's I mean, you need to have like, I mean, a state of mind of like, I mean, law maker or lawgiver or at least interpreter of the law. But the problem with this, I mean, first of all, it's better than many other, I mean, definitions I had in the past, but it's still problematic because it does not explain. It's too much mythological. It does not explain the physical nature of the Neros, which is something that should be addressed. And this is a physical question, not only mythological one. So I will speak about it in a minute. But I also wanted, I recalled something very important, which is the issue of signing. I mean, throughout my like experimentation with the symbolic language, one of the habits that I adapted was to sign. If it's painting, and just sign on the painting. I mean, besides my name, I also sign with fingerprints almost always. And if it's a drawing, it's on the if it's sculpture, it's on the background of the sculpture, which is typically it's another sculpture, or kappa, which is kind of like it's synthetic polyfoam or whatever. I mean, just like foam that is used by many artists. So I signed in with red oil. I mean, not my name. My name, I signed. I mean, as you know, I do it very naively. I mean, only private name. But I mean, I signed with my fingerprints and only. I mean, with one or more. I mean, red colors and of course, I mean, always mixed with a solvent. And I think one of the laws that I actually adapted to in myself is that the force is in effect while the fingerprints are still wet, which, I mean, considering the fact that it's oil paint and I mix it typically with oil, which is not typical for me because mostly I mix it with other stuff, but this one I mix it with oil, with linseed oil, so it stays for a long time, for actually a very long time. I mean, as opposed to almost all other types of colors that people use. But if it's dry, it's not in effect, and then we need to actually again redo the fingertips. And if I changed the something, I mean, in the artwork, I need in any way to do again the fingerprint. And this is also something that I do with my autograph, like letters of autograph. I sign again. I mean, not in another place, but I redo. I mean, and perhaps adding like a specific nuance or a color or something like that when the artwork is changed. Which it happens a lot because, again, I deal with, I mean, I work with all colors, and it's typical. It's I mean, all colors painting, I mean, it's historically, it's still true. It take a lot of time to paint them because you do it with layers and you correct and you wait for it to dry and you think about it. I mean, it concerns. I mean, it takes a lot of time both because of the physical nature of the medium and because of the kind of people that like these, they tend to like these kind of, I mean, medium and the way that typically they tend to like to behave or to think or to approach art. But let's what we need to ask about the physical properties of the Nero, because I've already told you that I know for a fact, I mean, I didn't know for a fact, but from poetic point of view, it seems to me logical that the Neros cannot be separated from me too much. Because in that case, I mean, I wouldn't be the Lord of the Rings, because the rings could have just be taken from me and then, I mean, multiply or farmed, I mean, and separated, and I could be discarded. And I knew that it's not the case. I knew that from poetic point of view, it must be that I still have usage in this world. And although it's not only poetic, but also, I mean, I understood, I mean, during my journey and my torture during the last 4 or 5 years, I understood that the people of Israel do not want me dead. They just want me to suffer, and they use my daughter specifically to make me suffer as much as possible and to humiliate me. I mean, just think about it. Today, actually, I mean, after a long time that I haven't given any of my semen, and actually threw to the garbage of the family. I mean, like empty syringes with a little bit of material and all, like, I mean, and all sorts of stuff. Like, I mean, I didn't have like the time to actually separate it. And so I thought to myself, oh, fuck it, okay, I know that they want it, so just have it. And later, I called my mother. I asked. I mean, she went for the bank to draw money, and I asked her if she can give me. Actually, I have no money at all, and it's fun to. I mean, sometimes you just want a little bit of. I mean, just for whatever. I mean, we don't need to explain. I mean, just a little bit of cash, and so I asked her for 200 shekels. It's like $60, $70, and after a long time that I haven't asked for anything from her, other than, I mean, specific thing for like food or medicine. And of course, each time this kind of thing happened, it's kind of, I mean, it's an issue of the Shabak and possibly also other intelligence agencies, because, I mean, the money is always, I mean, the concern of the Shabak and other intelligence agencies. And of course, she gave me a humiliation that of course came from the head, I mean, from the operator, and that I mean, she can only give me 100 shekel. I mean, and I need to explain what I'm going to do with it, like I'm a little child. I'm 39 years old, grown man that conduct experiment in this house in a daily basis, that, I mean, break all the laws of the established laws of science. But, I mean, they like to humiliate you, and this is after you presumably cooperated with them. Of course, I mean, that's the way they are. I mean, to clarify, I'm not going to cooperate with them. They're Nazis. I mean, they just threw it to the garbage because I didn't have time to separate it. But just to show you that even if they get something that they want, they just bite you harder. So, So it makes sense that they actually need me. So along the years, specifically the last 2 years, I came, I mean, I understood that there are 3 kind of like laws, like physical laws that concern myself with relation to the Shabak and to the efficacy of certain things and the relation to my existence. I know that it's all very abstract, but that's the way it was for me until actually today. I mean, it took me a lot of time to actually take this abstract, I mean, feeling and like put, I mean, the real thing, tangible things on it. But I understood that as a fact, the Shabak has some issue with me sleeping. I mean, sometimes they want me to go to sleep and sometimes they want me to stay awake. With me walking, and I like to walk. I mean, I now I'm arrested for a couple of months, but usually it's one of my, I mean, everybody knows that, I mean, I hike a lot and walk a lot. And the third thing is also an important issue of being like in a specific place. It's related to hiking, but it's not exactly the same. Like being in my home or outside my home. And I spoke about it a lot, and this is one of my tragedies of my life, that, I mean, I speculate only by myself for years, like, I mean, on subjects, if if I mean the people of Israel were not such scumbags, or for the matter even foreign intelligence agencies just would have given me the answers. I mean, I could have like in like 10 minutes understand so many things about my life that I still, I mean, investigate after years of investigation. And it's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. But that's, I mean, that's the only way for me to learn things. And it's ridiculous because there are many basic stuff that I still am not sure about. And even though I meditate about it and think about it and rationalize about it like for years now, really years. But I mean, nobody ever told me that. So I mean, I do what I can. And this issue belong exactly to this category of things that I mean I just asked myself so many questions, and it was a long process of even just I mean getting from the abstract mode of thought to actually more concrete mode of thought, because I didn't know about the nano. I mean, I suspected I had nanobots, but I didn't understand that they are so complicated. And I mean, it took me time to understand that this relates to the gate. And I mean, there were so many hurdles to jump. I mean, above, and so. And I can't like now iterate everything, but I mean, but you do understand that these things are related, of course. And my understanding now of the physical nature of the neurons with regards to, I mean, what exactly is needed for me in order for actually them to work is I'll tell you the following, but I'm not sure about it. But it's a culmination of thought process that I mean took place during years of loneliness and like I mean all sorts of like I mean argumentation. But what I think now is that if I sleep, they die, which is probably a protective measure for me. So I mean, so people will not be able to, I mean, to use them too much outside of my body. I mean, they can do it, but not too much, because eventually I will fall asleep and then they will die. So I mean, then it will start from again. And of course, it also hinders my the way that I use it. But I mean, but now, for example, I'm like it's the third consecutive night that I do not sleep. Eventually I will go to sleep tonight, but I mean, you understand that I produced many neurons because I wanted to have like a lot of them for the purpose of running a very important experiment of the AC. I mean, which I'll speak about it in a minute. It's currently ongoing in the room, but also other reasons that I needed neurons. And again, we're discussing like basic things that up to this day I don't have the answers for, even though I deal with them for years now. Is one of these things is what's the complete picture regarding the reasons that the Israeli intelligence actually want this stuff for me, because there are several reasons and the reasons change along the years, but I don't have like a complete picture of this issue, which is extremely important. Because that's why I actually held hostage in Israel. Otherwise, I mean, I guess it was much easier for me to actually be freed from this hell, in this eternal prison. So there is also an issue of where I am. So I mean, if I wander too much from the place of where the neurons are, they also die. But I don't know how much exactly. Maybe 10 kilometers, maybe 5 kilometers. I don't know how much. But they die, and I can take them with me, and then they won't die. This also, I mean, serves like a protective measure. I mean, so I will still be needed. And again, it's under me, but I mean, it's still, I mean, it's more, I mean, it's more help than, I mean, like a trouble. And the third issue is, I don't know, I mean, I only can only speak about it, but I really, I don't understand really, which is something that, it's something that related to the walking itself. I mean, not where am I? Of course, I mean, walking and where you are. Walking is a change. When you walk, you change your location. But these are two different issues. I mean, there is the location issue that I spoke about now, but there is also the issue of the walking itself, which has some kind of effects on the efficacy of the neurons, and also this relates to the gates. But I mean, I had so many theories, I mean, during the years, but I never came to any solid conclusion. I mean, I speculated a lot about it because I understand that it's important issue for many people in the Shabak, and also I walk a lot, so I mean it's always a relevant topic. But I don't walk because the Shabak wants me, and I will not. And even if I found out, and I did find out that many times that it's very beneficial for them that I will walk, hike, it doesn't mean that I didn't. I'm not going to deprive myself of one of my hobbies that I had since childhood. Although to hike. Also in nature and in Israel and in other, in the United States, in South America, and Southeast Asia. So I won't stop walk just because it's sometimes beneficial for the Shabbat. Okay, it's not. I'm not that crazy. But I don't have all the answers. So this is another question that I can only resonate with you, but I cannot really give you anything tangible. Another issue, the issue of backgrounds. Now I try to work. I produced the symbolic works, both sculptures and like apparatus, like scientific apparatus and paintings, and I do it. And of course I use the symbolic language, but I more than ever I try to now be more. More like to follow suit with the law that I actually myself understood and articulated. So it will make like sense. This relates to things that I spoke about yesterday. With the resentment regarding like the rabbinical mode of thought. But it's hell here. This is the worst room. It takes all over the place. Okay, so I'll make it short because I want to get out of this horrible room. So I try to match suit. Like if that paintings that relate to specific issue. And sculptures that relate to specific issue, and like other apparatus. If they're all related, they will use the same background, which is dictated by the rules. For example, like things that related to myself. They have the gray background, which is something because, as I said, androids. The background for androids is gray, and the background for humans is red, and the background for Titans, actually, I don't know, maybe purple, because I don't know. I know that purple is one of the, and I've said that it's one of the colors that actually carry symbolic meaning for the Neos, and also it's important color because it's the end of the visible spectrum for humans, and also purple is a typical color for planets that are in a less, let's call it, advanced stage of geological development than Earth. Earth, for example, was, according to many geologists, had like purple, flora. Photosynthesis was actually for a long time on Earth was not using like green leaves as it is famously now, but using living material that was actually, according to a very common theory, purple. And perhaps, I don't know, perhaps Venus is, at that stage, and then it will, if it's true, it's kind of like a purple, from inside. From above, it's famously whitish for its clouds, but I don't know how it looks below the clouds. I've only seen the Venera photographs, which of course, that I'm certain for many reasons, and I've written about it long ago, that they are fake as fuck. But okay, I don't have any other thing. So maybe it's purple and maybe not. But I don't know what's actually the background for Titans. But and I also updated the way that I do the fingerprints from red oil paint to specific kind of like a color that I mix myself, which is a combination of silver and gray and gris de paint, which is a very, it's a common color, which is kind of like it's actually a shade of blue, but it's like grayish blue. It's nice. It's a nice color, and I adapted it as one of the official colors for the Android race. I have many like projects that I try to advance in parallel, and so it's advancing slowly. And soon I will have to go to sleep, and all the Neos will die, according to the theory that I am currently hold. And then I will need to masturbate again, and to put them like in compartments, and to feed them, and to do electrolysis. So yeah, but the upside is that the Shabak only torture me all my life, but they don't actually kill me, which is nice. And of course, this is totally related to the issue that Neos die when I go to sleep. So what I try to do now with regards to the symbolic language is, first of all, I mean, very importantly, to advance the political project that I speak about a lot, but I do not elaborate on it because I have other things. But the political update or upgrade of the redundant, dominant life form here on planet Earth, or the Terran classical life form, the defunct ones, with updated versions, specifically Homo sapiens sapiens, but others as well. And there is also the project of like self-improvement, which is using like gray matter, like gray background, printing with gray or silver, gray to silver background, which represent androids, and I'm the only one that I know of, which is purely an android. You can also count my daughters, but it depends on how you define stuff. But so I try to like upgrade myself. It's a very, cute and important, and fun project, but I speak about it later, not today. And there is also the material project of producing gold and rings, actually, which probably it's the thing that I should have, put all my efforts into it, but it's currently just one of the things that I do in parallel, because everything is related. So according to my reasoning, this is also related to the other stuff. So it shouldn't take precedence over them. So yes, but it's also on the menu, of course, gold and rings, and of course, whenever I have something that I can actually show you, I've already had things that you can see, but under the microscope, that I didn't have a piece of gold or diamond, something like that that you can actually see in the naked eye. Even though the closest to it was the 3 sculptures of insects that were, beautiful and very elaborate and pretty big, and you can certainly think of them as kind of jewelry. But I can't separate it from the red oil paint background, and I don't want to break it, so I can just keep it that way. And my microscope it works with light, backlighting, so it cannot show a thing that stick to a solid background. So of course, I have to do with photographs, and there is also the issue, which is important, very important, and I spent many hours today and yesterday about it, which is the creation of alternative current circuits. And it's not just a technical issue; it's a big issue. It's working with a high voltage, which is can be actually dangerous. Right now, I have when I replaced, I used as a resistant for the Q, the circuit, I used 12 or 15 watt light bulb, but I just now I tried, like an hour ago, I replaced it with 40 watt. This huge one, because it's LED. 40 watt LED is something like that. Yeah, I respected the boob, even according to my standard, and right when I connected the circuit, it jumped, and I had to pull the switch, and I don't know why it happened. Do you have any reason? Because it's not big deal, but I want to understand what really happened here. So I have several theories. One of them is that actually the socket is not like an original socket. It's kind of like an appendage that is actually connected over the on top. Over the wall, not inside the wall. So maybe it's best to use original sockets. From the original design of the building. Because I don't understand why 40 watts should do this and not 15 watts. There is also always the option that actually this was done with purpose, by the intelligence communities of whatever, because they all my life they test me. So maybe now they test to see if I will faint or die or reset if the lights in the house are black. If it's true, come on, people. I don't know. Can you be more stupid than that? I really don't know what to tell you. Should I just now? Should I don't know. More clownish hoops? Should I jump? People. You know that I spent 17 consecutive days in the United States, in California, in the John Muir Trail, just hiking the John Muir Trail. Can't you? Why Americans are so stupid? People met me there, so why do you need to actually rediscover everything? Never mind. Please rescue me from the Nazi regime and the Nazi state of Israel, me and my daughters. Thank you very much.